Hello and welcome to this roundup of historical romance books where women are disguised as men. I'm Olivia, your favorite resource for book recommendations you can easily screenshot, and you're watching Random Olive Reads. A Duke's Introduction to Courtship by Sophie Barnes is book two of the Gentleman Author series. Brody is an impoverished duke who has secretly written a romance novel with two of his friends, but is strapped for immediate cash when a debt collector comes calling for his younger brother's debts. While out for a walk, he happens across a job opening at a print shop and thinks that he'll be able to collect a small bit of money while also sneaking in his own manuscript for consideration. While there, he runs into a young man who works as a compositor in the print shop and doesn't know why he's drawn to the lad. Harry is actually Harriet and dresses up as a young man to gain employment to care for herself and her younger sister. She has successfully maintained the disguise for several years, but her attraction for Brody might give her away. West End Earl by Bethany Bennett is book two of the Misfits of Mayfair series. Calvin is an all around nice guy Earl who likes being a mentor to his young steward, not realizing that the boy is actually a lady. Ophelia has been on the run from a cruel uncle and assumes the identity of her dead twin brother to escape. This one was super interesting to see how Calvin finds out about Ophelia's identity and then how they tie it all up at the end. The Heiress at Sea by Christy Caldwell is book two of the McCoys of Mayfair series. Cassia, the often invisible eldest daughter of an earl, is setting off on an adventure, dressing up as a boy and sneaking onto her brother's best friend's ship so that she can go see the world. Turns out she's on the wrong ship and ends up on Nathaniel's boat, which is aimed to intercept a French warship. Nathaniel is the second son of a duke, but recently became the heir after his brother fell off a horse. With his father's demands in mind, this mission is likely to be the last. With everyone trapped on a ship, there's plenty of drama to go around. Cassia is still pretending to be a boy, but she's so terribly naive and sensitive that the other men make fun of her. When they discover she's actually a lady, there's definitely a lot of potential for scandal. Odds on the Rake by Sophie Darling is book one of the All's Fair in Love and Racing series. Gemma dresses up as a stable hand to infiltrate the Duke of Rakesley's racing stable and collect information for a rival horseman. Gemma and her twin brother were the illegitimate children of an earl, and they are running away from his overbearing care. When Gemma gets to the Duke's stables, she has a way with the wild and untrained horse and quickly moves up to being a jockey. While Rake runs an impressive stable, he's curious about the new hand Gem. When he finally realizes that his new employee is a woman and a very attractive one, they start a steamy affair that keeps her feeling guilty about her initial motives for being there. To Tame a Scandalous Lady by Liana De La Rosa is book three of the Once Upon a Scandal series. Lady Flora, daughter of a duke and sister to a marquess with political ambitions, disguises herself as a man to become the assistant trainer at a horse racing operation. While she has set herself up to learn how to run a racing stable, she's surprised to find herself attracted to the marquess who owns the place. Christian aims to rebuild his family's legacy after a stable fire took the lives of his father and many prized racehorses. After spending all his money to rebuild the stables, he needs this new horse to win in order to recoup all the costs. When he finds out his horse trainer is actually a woman, he first wants to dismiss her, but keeps her on after Flora stubbornly defends her actions. They start a dalliance while they aren't busy with the horses, but the truth of Flora's noble identity could lead to a lot of scandal for them all. Sins of a Wicked Duke by Sophie Jordan is book one of the Penrich School for Virtuous Girls series. We start with a tragic prologue of three girls who become friends at a terrible girls' school where meals are withheld and punishments are severe. Later on, Fallon escapes the unwanted advances of her employer's son and meets a devilish duke who attempts to both save her and seduce her. She rejects him and decides to dress up as a boy for her next employment. Unfortunately, the employment agency has sent her to the Demon Duke himself, where she gets a job as a footman. Although she hopes to escape Dominic's notice, she sees firsthand the wicked behavior that he engages in and can't help expressing signs of disapproval. Dominic has his own troubled backstory with an overly pious grandfather and a physically punishing governess, and he pretty much just tries to live up to his wretchedness. He's baffled by his unease around the new footman and not really sure why he cares so much about the boy's opinion. He doesn't yet realize that the footman is the very same woman he can't get out of his mind since that chance meeting long ago. The Duke's Mysterious Lover by Caroline Lee is book 6 of the Surprise Dukes series. Thorn is the only unmarried friend of his friend group, so he has taken on the burden of catching a treasonous villain. He does, however, have a very handsome young footman who is distracting him from his work, and he's recently promoted that guy to valet. Kit is not actually a young man, but the daughter of a famous opera singer and some unknown nobleman, working as a footman so that she can get closer to the society where her father lives. She's just trying to catch a glimpse of this absent father and make her own judgment about his character. However, being promoted to Thorne's valet puts her in very close proximity to a very attractive man, and she is sorely tempted to give in. It's a sweet sort of romance built on their personalities rather than their outward appearance, and Thorne is absolutely thrilled to learn that Kit is a woman and possibly marriageable. The Wolf and the Wildflower by Stacey Reed is a standalone novel. We've got a tragic background for both the characters here, and it makes for an unbelievable connection. Jules has lived her entire life as a man despite being born a girl. Her mother endured difficult childbirths and was warned against having more children, but her father was insistent on a son. So her mother and midwife presented the baby as a son so that she could find relief from marital relations and pregnancy. James, the son of a duke, was lost in the Canadian mountains at the age of 18 and survived there alone for 10 years before his rescue and return. Now that he's back in England and the duke, his mother is concerned that he is addled and savage. Jules and her father are both mind doctors hired by James's mother to assess the man and fix his behavior. Of course, Jules is the one who understands his plight and need for isolation and quiet amongst his busybody, chattering family. James also sees through Jules's disguise with his heightened senses and awareness, and he has been the only one to truly see her in her whole life. The quiet moments where these two are alone are really the only times they can be themselves without the judgments of society or putting on an act. Thank you so much for watching this video. Hopefully you found a book or two to add to your TBR. Links to all of these books are in the description box. Like and subscribe to get updates, and you can follow me on Instagram at randomolive.